The entire niche aspect of ultra running has always been a counterculture. You know, everybody was doing the marathon craze of the 70s and 80s. And then there was these wild fringe guys who just said, no, we don't want these big city marathons and we don't want all of these things. Let's just pick some points and run from this place to the other. So anyway, I got hooked on this idea of the history of it and getting beyond all the numbers and the splits and the ideas and everything like that.
Much fun, man.
I grew up in a life of trauma, to say the least, right? And so later on, to a degree maybe, ultras are a way for me to focus trauma. Like I now have a control over how I suffer and when I suffer. And I get to make that as a conscious choice. If I can choose to suffer, then I can be better prepared for unplanned suffering.
Yay! 10 hours. I didn't really check myself very well, and so I kept drinking, and I downed an entire 20-ounce Gatorade, most of a 20-ounce root beer, a little bit of regular Coke, and water, and then a goo gel. And yeah, that was a lot. And so when I went back out and I started running, my stomach was bubbly and not at all pleased with me. And then it was the hottest part of the day, and then the breeze went away, and I was just like, all right, this is where you let the race come to you. I dialed back the expectations. You know, I was trying to hit 62 miles, and I was like, well, I'll definitely hit 50, and there's not a single complaint in the world about doing 50 miles in 10 hours, so I was like, oh, okay, and then things started picking back up, and some more friends showed up, having those other people out there on the track running with me, and I was like, oh, okay, makes everything a little bit easier, and so I was able to hit 58 miles on a day that I think the heat index had creeped up toward 90, on a rubberized black track where all the heat was coming up off of the track as well. Can't complain a bit. It was a great day.
It really isn't about like getting a belt buckle. It isn't about the bib. It isn't about the t-shirts. It isn't about all of that, because all of that's fleeting. All of that's going to go away. It's like hanging your head on a brand name. And when you go out into the woods and you do something completely separate from everything else, there's no sadist there with you. That same hill is going to chew up every single person exactly the same way. And sometimes when I'm running, I like to think that no one else out here is suffering any less than me. So it becomes who gets to suffer better.